Hello everyone, today we'll be talking about discrimination against Asian people after the COVID-19 epidemic. The COVID-19 epidemic caused great distress and mass panic around the world. This has also caused many to be wary and cautious of others, causing a surge of xenophobia cases due to people just trying to find other groups of other people to blame for the pandemic that took away their livelihoods as well as some others' lives. Although it's just speculation, there are two hypotheses on how the pandemic came to be. The first and most common belief is that it was spread from eating an infected animal who had COVID-19. The second is that it's from a laboratory leak. They claim that it was possible that the coronavirus was being studied on animals and an exposure happened. But there isn't any definitive reason to back this claim up. Regardless, it is confirmed by the CDC that the virus emerged in 2019. In a few patients in China's Hubei province in Wuhan City. By January of 2020, it had already begun to spread to neighboring countries, then to the whole world. The video will be divided into 4 parts. The first part will be the introduction, which we just covered. The second will be the explanation and dissecting of the topic. The third will be the summary, and the fourth will be the closing.
This surveillance footage shows a 71-year-old Asian grandmother violently shoved to the ground, her purse stolen. Just one of several attacks in California's Bay Area recently. A 91-year-old man pushed in Oakland's Chinatown, one of 3 attacks that day. 84-year-old Thai American Visha Ratanapakdi knocked over while out for a walk. He died a few days later from his injuries. His family saying they believe it was rooted in racism.
This guy should not be let up back on the street. He should be charged with murder. If you see the video, there's nothing non-intentional about it.
Asian American leaders say these attacks are a trend, not isolated incidents.
What we are seeing is just the tip of the iceberg of what is actually happening in the communities.
So, what's really going on with the COVID-19 situation and discrimination? How are Asians being targeted exactly? Well, several studies have shown that cases of hate crimes against Asians in general have been increasing since the pandemic took place. From March to May in 2020 alone, there have been more than 800 hate incidents associated with the pandemic from just 34 counties in California, 81 of which were physical assaults and 64 may be considered a violation against civil rights. In addition to that, Asian hate incidents and crimes have increased by an astounding 1,200%. Before the pandemic, the chance of being Asian and targeted in a hate crime is 3 to 4%. In March of 2020, it increased to roughly 16%, a 12 to 13% increase. Despite the pandemic originating from China, it isn't only Chinese people who experience the rise in hate crimes. Other Asian ethnic groups experience it too due to the fact that other people have perceived them as Chinese, due to a similar sounding language, facial features, and other reasons. Here is an anecdote from an immigrant woman of Korean origin in her late 20s, translated from Korean. I was walking in the city where I live, and a white old woman was poking me in the face saying, "You are disgusting," and she was trying to hit me. I ran away crying. At the time, I was with my boyfriend, but he also just came to the US, so we ran away together thinking that if we caused trouble, we could be deported. Of course, it isn't only violent hate crimes that have seen an increase after or during the COVID-19 pandemic. Other behaviors which are caused by an anti-Asian sentiment had also experienced a rise. Some have said more people look at them with an uncomfortable expression than before the pandemic. Others say they have been shamed both in public and in private. This hate was most likely further amplified by the fact that Donald Trump, the president of the US during this time period, had used the term Chinese virus to describe COVID-19 quite a lot, more than 20 times between March 16 to 30 in 2020 alone. In this time period, over 100 hate crimes against Asians were reported. In the period of time where Trump didn't use similar terminology, no hate crimes were reported.
So how can this impact a person's life? In addition to the constant fear and paranoia this may cause, or the potential property damage, the situation causes Asian immigrants to be afraid to speak out in fear of losing, creating complications with, or negatively impacting their immigration status. As we've seen in the personal anecdote before, all this is similar to what happened during the previous SARS outbreak, as there are a lot of similarities between the two pandemics. They both led to the stigmatization and the rise in discrimination against those affected by the disease, as well as causing the rise of anti-Asian sentiments in general.
The following are the courses of action that need to be taken. Firstly, spreading awareness in schools and organizations. Second, improving law enforcement's reporting, tracking, and responding to hate crimes. Third, improving healthcare, especially in mental health services. Fourth, help in dedicated research and funding. Fifth, eliminating bias in public health reporting. As many studies and reports have proven the high rates of discrimination against Asians and Asian Americans in both public and private spaces by including graphs taken over time, they have shown great comparison between races and the discrimination rates between them. Proving high rates of discrimination threatened and attacked Asians and Asian Americans involving reasons for being Chinese, regardless of their ethnicity. Reason being COVID-19 and SARS started from China, and fearing every one of them may have carried it. In 2023, people have started to stop using masks and stop social distancing, which caused the rates of discrimination and assault to decrease. There have been major changes as time went by, which means that it is safer now. Thank you for watching, and we hope you learned something new about the issue.